Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ajnanatimirandhasya jnananjanashalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Thank you, Professor Srinivas and Dr. Mehta, for just say a few words about this manuscript preservation or the metadata about this manuscript collection. Thank you very much for all of you. So I'm not going to talk about more the scientific or the computer engineer special details because I am ignorant about that. So I say something about manuscripts, what is written in our ancient texts, how it has been described in those texts. So this is the from palm leaf manuscripts to critical editions or edition, currently what we are doing. So this is the transformation from manuscripts to the current editions. India is the land of various treasures of knowledge which are inscribed, preserved, and passed on to the next generation through the mediums of stone, copper plates, birch bark, cotton, palm leaf, and sometimes leather also. It is our duty to preserve our valuable heritage material and its content and pass on to the next generation. Using our modern technology, it is not a big challenge, at least to understand the text. As far as Sanskrit palm leaf manuscripts are concerned, we may need to first prepare a detailed catalog to facilitate our researchers. Of course, the task is going on globally. After oral tradition, the knowledge, that is text, has been transcribed into the palm leaves, and that has been passed on from generations to generations by scholars and scribes. It was a customary practice in our system that were palm leaf manuscripts, manuscript decays, its contents are transferred onto fresh leaves. These new leaves once are then preserved, and the old manuscript is either burnt in the fire ablation or thrown into the flowing river as mentioned in our scriptures. The texts such as Jnanaratnavali, Devyamata, and other texts prescribe the procedure of disposing the manuscripts. The worn out manuscripts are dipped in ghee and oblate it into the fire pit. And after oblation, one has to recite 100 Aghora mantra, because this is a sort of prayashchitta. One has to Jirnangam yat swasiddhanta pustakam tad ghrita plutam agnikunde hotavyam hutva ghorashatam japet. In that manner, our written ancient Indian literature was passed on to the newer society. Transcribing manuscript is a difficult and painstaking job. It requires a lot of skill, practice, patience, application, dedication, and training. So that is the problem which we are facing now. The younger generation is so fast, and they are not having much patience to read the transcripts. So it needs a lot of patience. In general, two types of writing on palm leaf manuscripts are seen. In the Agamas, we find the reference to the stylus, the sharp-tipped metallic pen by which the letters were engraved on the palm leaf. Shuddhaya sena kartavyam naracham talamatrakam. Maybe the metallic pen has to be made with iron or sometimes golden also is mentioned, golden pen. The length of the manuscript size. Whereas the Atmartha Puja Paddhati reads Shiva Pustaka Sutram Va Mashim Va Lekhanim Tuva. So whoever donates for writing Shiva Pustakam, Shiva manuscript, the thread to tie or bundle that manuscript leaves, or mashi is a lamp black or some ink, or lekhani to write that pen material. So whoever donates, so he will be get this punya. That is what it goes. So in the previous verse, if you see, sorry, in the other thing, that is metallic pen has been in 2-3 places. It has mentioned as a metallic pen. It means to scratch something what we are writing in southern part, scratch the palm leaf. Whereas Shiva Mahimnastava, a famous Shiva Stotra, also refers to the pen and the ink, which was the most common practice in northern part of India. So engraving on palm leaf was in practice in South India, then applying lamp black for readability. It will be black and easily readable. Writing with pen using ink on palm leaves was in practice in northern part of India. So this is the iron stylus with a sharp tip on, and it will scratch the palm leaf to write the letters. So this is the example for the southern type of manuscript which has been inscribed, transcribed, incision of letters. So this is the same palm leaf manuscript in North India, where they are writing with ink using a brush type. So this is a northern part of manuscript, India's manuscript. So palm leaves are first cut from the trees before they could dry up and become brittle. Only a half-opened young shoot of palm leaves are suitable for making manuscripts. These are cut into required size and then boiled in water to the required temperature in order to render them soft. The softened leaves are then dried in the shade or mild sunshine. The unwanted middle ridge is removed from the main leaf. The desired portion is polished, trimmed to required size, and pressed to make them flat. After some time, the leaves are taken out, which by now would have become flat and smooth for writing. The number of leaves in a manuscript bundle depends upon the content. It means of which text you are going to write, whether we require 20 leaves or 40 leaves or 100 leaves, depend upon the size of the quantity of the text which we are going to write. Then holes are made on either side of the leaves with a red hot wire. A cord is passed on through the holes to hold the leaves together. So the safe storage of manuscript bundle. Palm leaves were stored between two wooden planks that were slightly larger in size than the leaves. The wooden boards were sometimes painted or decorated with ivory and mother of pearls inlay work. To keep the leaves together, holes were punched in the center of the wooden planks. If the leaf was small, otherwise at either end of it, a cord was passed through the holes and bound around the manuscript to keep the leaves intact. So this is the board. Wooden boards are given in the both sides of manuscripts to keep them safe. And then manuscript preservation. Palm leaf manuscripts are organic in nature and are liable to different types of deterioration. If they are not preserved properly, they are subject to physical damage and decay. Some of the most common deteriorating agents are climatic factors. For example, various variations in relative humidity and temperature, light, insects, constant handling, and adverse storage. These are the problems. To prevent from such defects, palm leaves are treated with special preservative methods such as use of margosa, that neem leaf oil, and applying camphor or lemongrass oil to control white ants, fumigation with thymol vapor. So this is the way they clean the manuscript. So first, in each bundle, they take out the bundle and untie that bundle and separate the leaves. Sometimes it will stuck to each other, and they open and separate each leaves and they brush with soft brush, clean the dust or something. Then they apply the lemongrass oil. This is the practice which we are following in our institute. And they leave it for 2 days to dry that oil. Then again they tie the bundle and keep it in cupboards. So if you see, these are the problems, worm-eaten manuscripts. It is a problem will be faced by the critical edition at that time. Otherwise, sometimes with a small hole in particular letter, it will be very difficult for us to decide whether it is a ka or ta or pa. That is a very big problem for edition. So, what the textual reference of manuscript writing? The chapter 2 of Shivadharmottara explains the gift of knowledge, that is Vidyadana, in great detail. This text prizes the gift of knowledge as Mahadana, the most excellent among all gifts. And another text, Amshumadagama, where Agama Pratishtha Vidhi, there is one separate chapter, also deals with the manuscript preservation and writing, all these things. And Vidyapita Sthapana Vidhi in Atmartha Puja Paddhati also has such details. Another Shaivagama, the Veratantra, the length of the manuscript starting from 14 angulas to 22 angulas. That is what it gives the size of the manuscripts. And also it says, Mashina lekhayet vapi varnenevatu lekhayet shat pantirvatha panchairva lekhayet pustakam tataha. So one should write the book, that is manuscript, using a lamp black mashi or with color ink. Here he is giving both options. What can use this mashi or varna. It is especially preferred with organic nature, I think. So manuscript has to be written in 6 lines or 5 lines. So this is the good looking manuscript, or sometimes with the option of 7 to 11 lines per side. This text advises to have 2 sideboards on both sides, whose length is the same as the manuscript. Chintya Visvasadakya, quoted in Atmartha Puja Paddhati, says, Mashyava Dhatuna Vapi Likhet Pulikaya Piva Narachena Piva Kurya Deshkaha Shishya Evava. So this text gives 2, what we were telling about the southern practice and northern type practice. This text gives both Naracha as well as Tulika. So one can write the Siva Pustakam with using a pen or something like a stylus or with the brush. Both these references are given in Chintya Visvasadakya. Sorry, you may not be able to read properly because there is some compatibility problem. So I just read that Shivajnanasya Kalena. So why the manuscript has to be rewritten? Why should I read again and again? Because we get hundreds of books. For example, Raghuvamsha means we may get some hundreds. How it came? Why that many number of books? Because that was the practice in our society to go on transcribing the text because of different reasons. So Shivajnanasya Kalena Vinashtasya Pramadataha Unatirikta Varnasya Mudhaihi Durlikhitasya cha Pramadhadhita Patasya Nashitasya Alpabuddhibihi Jnanavalepamanan Acharyihi Shodhitasya cha Vyarthaih Padairupetasya Punaruptasya cha Arthataha Purvottara Viruddhasya Shabdartharahitasya cha. So these are all the conditions one should rewrite the manuscript. If one is perished for time, Kalena Vinashtasya, we have lost after a long duration, one manuscript may not be looking good, or it might have damaged. That was the one reason. Or if it is a Unatirikta Varnasya, if there is letters are less or more, or Mudhaihi Durlikhitasya cha, if it has been transcribed by foolish people, because they may not know properly how to write. So if it has been written by a foolish people, And pramadadhita patasya, if it is written wrongly, or nashitasya alpa buddhibhihi, if it has been damaged by a foolish people, and jnanavalepamānandhaihi acharyihi shodhitasya cha, if it has been examined, the manuscript has been examined by an acharya who thinks himself as a fool of blind of arrogance. And vyarthaih padairupetasya, if you see there are some words which are not relevant, unnecessary, meaningless. And punaruktasya cha arthataha, if it is a repetitive words in that manuscript. Purvottara viruddhasya, if it has been contradictory statement between among these text, if it is earlier and later. Purvottara viruddhasya. And shabdartha rahitasya, if there are some words which does not have any meaning. So in all these conditions, one has to rewrite. It evamadibhirtoshairupetasya, if there are in such type of faulty manuscript, has to be rewritten. Yaha samyak karoti, whoever is making them correct or writes again, like earlier, he is treated as Shiva Tantrarthavit Dhima. He is considered as a knower of Shiva Tantra, the meaning of Shiva Tantra. And he has been considered as Vidya Parameshwaraha. So he is a Lord among this, as far as this knowledge is concerned. So what to do before writing the manuscript? So sthapya pushpagrahasya gandha pushpaih prapujya cha lekhyam cha likhitam chatra vinyaset pustakadvayam. So before commencing writing of manuscripts, one should place the manuscript bundle on a flower house, like a palanquin, and having worshipped it with fragrant flowers, one should place the two books, that is Lekhyam and Likhitam, the book to be copied and the one already written. So it was a book, seeing that one he is going to copy in another fresh leaves. Lekhyam cha likhitam chatra vinyaset pustakadvayam. And then also he should get approval from his guru. Tridha pradakshini kritya dandavat pranamet kshitau vignapayet samuthaya janubhyam dharanigataha kritanjaliputo bhutva pranipatya punargurum bhagavan tatprasadena shastram sancharayamyaham. So he has to make circumambulate that book, and he should prostrate dandavat pranamayat kshito. He has to fall on the ground to make obeisance to his guru, and kneeling on the ground after being risen again and again. Janubhyam dharanigataha samuthaya, again he has to worship with the folded hands. Anjali putaha kritanjali putao bhutva, after worshipping with folded hands, he should announce that Bhagavan Tvat-prasadena, O Lord, with your favor or grace, I am going to transfer the treatise. Shastram sancharayamyaham. So you please allow me. For that, the Guru has to say yes. Tatha iti samujñātaha. Once the Guru says yes, you go ahead, then he will start continuing his writing. So what script has to be written? I don't know. This is what the text has. Chaturasraihi samasirshaihi nati sthulaihi navakrashaihi sampurna avayavai snigdhaihi nati vichinna samhataihi matranuswara sanyoga praswadirghadi lakshitaihi nandinagarikairvarnaihi lekhayet shiva pustakam. So this is what the text says. He should write the book of Shiva with letters belonging to the Nandinagari script that are quadrangular, allineated to the upper part, whose lines are not too thick nor thin, and whose members of the letters are well filled, smooth, not too separated nor too joined together, characterized by the correct metrical quantities, anuswaras and combined consonants, samyuktaksharas, with short and long vowel signs. So it should be perfectly written. That is what it aims. And then procedure of manuscript donation. Yes, after completing the writing of that manuscript, what should one do and how it should be given to others? After completion of writing the manuscript, he should place it on a palanquin and take it in a procession to Shiva temple. Because we are talking about the Shaiva manuscripts. The king should participate in that ceremony along with his royal insignia. After reaching the procession to the Shiva temple or the Shiva monastery, the scribe gently collect the manuscript with most devotion in the presence of Shiva. He should make offerings. The best among reciters should read one chapter of the book. The reciter should know the characteristics of metrics. Good poet, he should endowed with a sweet voice, knower of music, and a clever man. So these are the qualifications to recite the one chapter from that book. Further prescribed rituals will be conducted. Then the king will donate the book of knowledge, that is manuscript, to a Shiva yogi who is well versed and master in that scripture. So I was trying in our place whether is there any procedure to make the manuscript. So unfortunately, I could not. I have contacted some person who was in Tanjavur. He was writing manuscripts, but unfortunately, he said there is no such practice is being made now. So I got one video clipping from internet. So I think it is from Sri Lanka. They are how they are making the palm leaf manuscripts. So first they select the tree and first make a worship that particular tree, because he is going to cut the leaf from that particular tree. So he is going up and selecting the only young shoot from that tree. So it has been carried and placed on surface. You see, it is so. So they remove the ridge in between because that is a hard part. They remove the ridge. And the so with some medicinal plants. They prepare a paste, something like that, and put it in the boiling water. Then they add these leaves to boil it. Then they will dry it. And they soften that. Then they cut into sizes accordingly. They remove this unwanted portion. Then now the manuscript is ready for writing. then they will start pricing on that. So then they apply lamp black for readability. Yes, and then this is a cataloging. Cataloging is one of the most important work to know the content of the manuscript bundle, because each bundle may contain several texts. It will be known to all only if it is cataloged carefully by reading each leaf. Apart from regular cataloging elements such as name of the text, size, language, script, material, all these things, we need to concentrate some more elements such as subject descriptors. There, I think in the morning also when I was talking, so it will give subject descriptors we can retrieve easily with those tags, and bundle content and text content. These are all things important in cataloging, I think. We also need to be more cautious while entering the beginning and end of the text, because we need to record actual beginning and end portion of that particular text, apart from invocation and imprecatory statements. Because if you see invocation, normally the practice will be in while cataloging, maybe 3-4 lines of the beginning and 4 lines of ending. That will be the standard thing. If you see some invocations, it will run for 3-4 lines, or sometimes Vagartha, Sampraktu, Ganesha, Namaha, so many invocations at the beginning. So that itself will run for 3-4 lines. If you copy only those 3-4 lines, you miss actually the text beginning of the text. So after completing the invocation, copying the invocation lines, you have to extend the beginning beginning up to the actual beginning of the text. So that should be done while making a catalog. And the same way in the imprecatory verse at the end also, you will see a lot of obeisance to that local deity and Panchanga details, other details. That itself may take some 3-4 lines. So you have to locate the actual ending of that text and copy that particular portion. But of course, it's difficult to identify sometimes the end portion, but that should be done in that way. So cataloging is also needs a good scholarship. Without overall knowledge of different branches of Sanskrit, one cannot prepare a complete catalog. And then colophon. Normally, we neglect the colophon at the end of manuscripts, but sometimes it gives useful information. We can understand the nativity of the manuscript from the invocation in the beginning or in the end. For example, if one writes Gridhrachala Nivasa Kartikeyaya Namaha or Kantimatyamba Sahayam, so such statements, Gridhrachal Nivasa Kartikeya, it's a Kalugumalai. I think that manuscript is from Kalugumalai in your southern Tamil Nadu. So if one writes something like that, he has some sort of connectivity with that particular place. So we can identify that the scribe or the manuscript comes from that particular place. So such statements will be useful in the colophons. If we understand the nativity of the manuscript, sometimes we can understand the language used in the text. The scribe or commentator unknowingly use the language of the geographical location of the or sometimes the language of the neighboring states. For example, if you see the border states, you will get unknowingly also it will come. If you see in Chennai and also this part, you may get some words of Telugu influence of the neighboring state. If you go to Tirunelveli and Nagarkoil, that side, you may get some words from Malayalam. In the same way, if you go to Visakhapatnam and that place, you will feel the influence of Oriya script, Oriya language. So in the border states, it will reflect. Those things also can be seen from the colophons. Different types of colophons are seen in the manuscripts. The author colophon, commentator colophon, and scribal colophon. The colophon at the end of a work may contain one, two, or several, or all of the following details: the title of the work, name of the author, parent's name, teacher's name, place of the author, name of the patron, date of completion of the work in a cyclic year, either Shaka or Vikrama or Kali in any such year, and the Grantha count, that was the count which was given in early days, and how many Granthas it has, and then name of the scribes and the place of the scribe, all these details. So there are some online digital catalogs which are available. So this is our transcript catalog. So here we can get all the details here itself, and also if we click, we can also see the transcript as it is. And then conclusion. As the several institutions and private agencies are started to digitize the manuscript collection, now it is the duty to formally catalog those manuscripts and link the catalogs with other manuscript catalogs, online catalogs. If it is done, then it will meet the requirement of scholars in searching for a manuscript, what they want. Now we go to each catalog and search for a particular text and get the result. If it is linked with all such catalogs, for example, search for a Raghuvamsha, we get from one place. If it is a linked, all manuscripts, online catalogs are linked, one should be able to get the information about the text wherever it is. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll now open up the session for question and answers.
Yes, please.
So there's one cryptic question in the chat box.
Oh.
Are you able to see that?
No, no, I think I have came out of that one. Can you please? So I have to how to unscreen that. Stop sharing. Okay. Yeah.
If you click on the chat button, I think you'll be able to view the question. There's a chat button at the bottom.
Yeah, yes. Maharaj, thank you. Yes, command to the manuscript writer comes from which type of physical being or God? What is that? In chat box.
Yes, that is the question. I didn't get it.
Yeah, I don't know what is someone who is asking Ramachandran Viswanathan to panelists. Yes, command to the manuscript writer comes from which type of physical being or God? I don't get that question.
Leave it to God to answer that question. It's not for us.
Maybe if they, at least I can answer whatever I can, but the question I don't understand. If he can clearly say what it is, at least I can try to.
Okay, so I have a question. Somebody spoke about an ISBN number.
Yeah.
So in that context, do we have any interoperable standards for the manuscript catalogs?
No, to my knowledge, it's not. Each libraries has their own numbers, some recurring number, and another number in our catalog. One is automatically generated number. I don't know how far it is. It could be done with the ISBN number, because we may get a number of manuscript of the same text.
No, going beyond the ISBN, like for the other fields and aspects of the metadata, do we have a standard that is agreed to either as a country or across libraries?
I don't know. I can't say that, Dr. Mehta.
Because in most other fields, we have a mature standard that is adopted across all libraries.
Yes. Mostly it is adopted everywhere.
So
It means,
what is the reason that we don't have a similar system for the manuscript libraries?
yeah, because everything depends on their the workforce and other compulsions. Because you have to complete the cataloging within 5 months, means you will be in a hurry to at least see the beginning and ending, and you catalog with the minimum details. If you are allowed to make a detailed catalog, so you have a more time to go through each bundle, and so that you can make a clear maximum information you can input, isn't it? Hello.
Yes.
I think that is what, as much time you give for the cataloging person. So he will, because reading manuscript is not something easy. It is not like a novel we can read, or a printed books one can read. Sometimes it will be very difficult to, if it is a damaged manuscript and muddled with the folios are muddled. So it will be a very big headache for them to understand the manuscript. After on top of that, he has to catalog, means it is a time, it